Some nights undress you without hands. That night, it was his absence that slipped beneath my skin.
My name is Natasha. I don't fall quietly. I fall hard, deep into poems, dreams, and quiet sorrow. People say I'm strong because I never beg. But the truth is, I've only ever loved like the clock was against me. Sharp, relentless. I've lived in 4 countries, left 3 apartments mid-rent, held hands with men I never called mine, and rewritten my life so many times that the first sentence still feels like a wound. That's where it began. The story of the men who never touched me. He came like a wound that hadn't closed, silent, trembling, carrying a grief that makes you reckless. When I opened the door, he was already unraveling, sweating, swaying. His breath soaked in something deeper than liquor, grief, maybe, or longing. Earthy, magnetic, threaded with whatever chemistry makes people do things they regret. But his eyes, they searched mine like someone scanning the horizon, starving for land after months adrift at sea. We kissed, slow, lingering, the kind of kiss that asks a question and leaves you waiting for an answer. He laid me down. His hand slid beneath my shirt, warm against my skin. Then he stopped, completely still, like his body forgot what to do next. I'd already felt it coming. A breath caught in my chest, a quiet inner voice whispering, "This is too good to be true, isn't it?" That a man would cross a sleeping city, not for conquest, not for comfort, but for something he couldn't name, something wild, trembling, and very nearly love. His hand rested just below my ribs. His lips brushed mine. Then, nothing. Stillness.
I can't. If I start with you, I won't be able to stop.
I nodded, because I'd already guessed. We lay there, half undressed, silent, time stretching between us, thick, electric, heavy with everything we wouldn't say. By the time dawn bled across the window, he was gone. The door clicked shut, like the end of a song. You were supposed to stay. His name was Matisse, 26. Military past. Soft hands, mean eyes. He came after a drunk driver across the city. Engine still ticking. Said he had work in the Alps. Something urgent. Something that couldn't wait. I believed him. But that night, he didn't pick up the phone. Well, not just that night. We were meant to go to the mountains together. That was the idea. If you can call anything with him a plan. I was lost. The way you get lost when every room feels borrowed, every decision feels like someone else's. There was nowhere to land, nowhere that felt mine. I couldn't stay in that apartment much longer. The rent was rising, my bank account shrinking. The silence inside those walls was starting to eat me alive. And what could I do? The Alps were vast, too vast to search for a man who hadn't left a forwarding address. But still, some soft, stubborn part of me wanted to follow his trace. And then, Pierre. This young Pierre stepped into the frame. We met once, in a cafe off Rue de Bretagne. I was just sitting there, quietly, alone. He asked if he could share my table. He was 24. Gentle in a way that didn't perform itself. He didn't ask questions. He just appeared. We talked about travel, not places, but the feeling of leaving, the beauty of not knowing where you'll sleep. He asked if I was a writer. I said, sometimes. He smiled.
I think you are.
We exchanged Instagrams. Nothing dramatic. But from that day on, he liked nearly every story. Silently, consistently. Thumbs on glass, double tapping parts of me he never dared touch. He became a quiet presence, like a younger brother. Careful not to press. Then one morning, a message.
I'm driving to the Alps for work. Want to come?
On the road, he barely spoke. Just the hush of tires, the low exhale of the engine climbing. We weren't lovers, we weren't friends. Just two people moving forward, as if movement could make sense of something senseless. Halfway up the mountain, we stopped for gas. He came back holding a bottle of warm milk and a vial of lavender syrup.
You once said this helps you sleep.
I froze. I had said that once in passing. Lavender milk, a strange lullaby from my childhood. Perfumed, thick, private, and he remembered.
Well, I was lucky to find lavender syrup in a place like that. Middle of nowhere.
But I didn't believe in luck. Still, I drank. At the lodge, there was only one bed. We made sandwiches, mustard, ham, thick slices of bread, and ate in silence. That night, I said, "You can sleep next to me. Just don't touch me." And he said,
I wasn't going to.
I turned to the wall and cried. Not for Matisse, not for Pierre, but for the girl who still wanted someone, anyone, to roll over, half asleep, and reach for her. I thought I'd manifested a man to carry me to the mountain. But maybe what I needed was someone willing to stay still beside me once I got there. If you know what it's like to lie beside someone who doesn't reach for you, you'll understand. Follow the story.
Like a question, lavender syrup mixed with milk clouded the glass. So light, it barely stayed on your tongue. Like like the almost we never put into